Hi, this is Dr. Taheri. Welcome to another screencast. Today we'd like to talk about how to use CubeX Trio 3D printer. This is a part of our APSC 171 engine drawing and CAD CAM. The first step is you have to obviously create your part or your assembly in the CAD software. Use SolidWorks. So I have an assembly here. Uh, in fact, when you go to their website, so you see that they made this basketball, and even in the commercial it shows a basketball, perfect, color and all the lines. But I highly doubt that you can do something, or it takes really several tries to make it in that perfect scenarios. But the problem with this is the printer actually. When you want to make different colors, it goes and make it layer by layer. And if you have, for example, 3 different colors in one layer, for each of those spots with that different color, the jet has to go back, has to be cooled down, the other jet has to warm up, come and make that perhaps feature, and then go back, and it takes significantly amount of time. Um, but however, this 3D printer is capable of making parts in a kind of satisfactory fashion. So imagine I've made this assembly, and I can actually bring the assembly by itself, but I highly recommend that we do it part by part. We have several machines in our lab, and I think it's better for students to do it one part per machine. It's faster and it's more timely in terms of the use of the machine. So for making something like this, so let's just I bring, for example, the female yolk, and this is the part. So next thing I would do is, after I make that, hopefully it's a perfect dimension, I go and I save it as STL file. I have a directory here for this particular files 3D printer, and I go here and I select STL, which is a binary, and I call it female test 1. So save it there. It asks, do you want to make it binary? Yes, correct. Close it. And then I go to my 3D printer software. You can download it if you have 3D CubeX. You go here to printers. You go here to CubeX 3D, and then you download the software here. I'm not sure if you have the Mac version or not, but anyway, this is the Windows. You can also download the manual. So this is done here already, and this is what you get. At the beginning, it asks you to set up and configure the printer. It depends on how you want to do it. Use 3 colors. The colors are here, and it's up to you to choose it. If you want to put different cartridges in different orders, you can do that. So usually I use white, red, and blue, and depends on what color is going to be in the white, the first cartridge, that would be the color. So if you use a mouse, the right click moves the platform, the left click turns it, and the wheel makes it magnified. I want to bring the model first, so let's go here and I bring here test 3, test 1 here. So you bring it here, and as you can see that it places it in this position. So you should realize that this is not the most feasible and most practical way to print this, obviously. If you really want to do it correctly, you select it here, and then you go and use these rotations. So this would be perhaps a much better way to create this part. And I can change the color and make it red or blue. I can move it the way I want. I can also scale it here if I want to make it a little smaller. So let's go 90%. And each time I press is 90% being smaller. I can do the same way. I can also use the move here. I can move this wherever I want, and you can see here, because this is made out of blue, when I cross it out of this rectangle, it shows that this is the limit. So if I go and I change red color and then I move it here, you can see the limit is different because this is the second nozzle. I can go further, and obviously if I go and I change it to white and I move it here, so from this side I have the limit, and this is the highest level that I can travel there. Anyway, this is just an idea of how a printer does its job. Most probably the most feasible is that if you want to make something like this because you want the least amount of traveling, put it in the center or you put it closer to the jets. Now the next thing you should do is you just want to build the actual file. You go here, it's built, and here there are a few options here. This feature here, it shows the layer thickness. This is 100 micron, 250 micron, and 500 micron. Obviously, if you want to have something very detailed, then you better go and use the 100 micron. You can have it hollow, thin, medium, or thick. And then you can get the other two is the support material and the raft material. I'll show you what is the raft here. So I'll make the raft blue and support material red. And then support material type could be either by points or by lines. I usually use lines. And then here it says you want to have more accuracy. Let's see how long it takes for this to be built. And I use support material as well as the raft here. Usually it's been suggested by the manufacturer that use a kind of, it's called a magic glue. I think it's a normal glue. You glue it to create more adhesion between the first layer and the rest of the layers of this part. But if you want to have a better adhesion, so you use raft, and raft is almost like a grid made at the beginning, and then the rest of the part will be kind of lay on top of it. In this case, I do not need support material, obviously, because it can create it like this. But just for the sake of argument, I made support material and show you what significant difference would be in terms of the time using it and not using it. Even its color. This takes about 4 hours and 49 minutes. And here is how it looks like here. So as you can see, this is my raft, and the support material will be placed inside this hole. And the reason for that is, let me just go here if I can. It's pretty slow. The reason is, when this layer is finished, you make these are all good, but when you want to make this layer here, so there is nothing to support this part, and obviously it might kind of like a sagging happens, and that's why the part might have not the perfect shape of the hole here. I personally recommend to my students, if you want to make something like this, use the best scenarios, and you can make these holes simply by drilling. It's very easy. So why not you make it solid and then you drill it with more accuracy, if this is helps. Let me just close that, and if I want to build again without any support material, it's going to take significantly, in this case not much because we don't have much of support material, but it will make a big difference. Also, it makes a difference if the support material are different color than the part itself. Each time we change the color or we add more color, it's going to be more difficult. Now, for the sake of the argument, let me select this here. Oh, sorry. And by the way, since I'm here, let's just go and I can add more parts. I can simply open another part, and I have a male yoke here, I think, right here. I bring it in, and this is the one. I select it and I make it smaller. So let's go back here. Okay. So if I want to make these ones here, obviously, for the male yoke, may have a problem because no matter how I do it, it's going to be difficult. I do need support material for this, and I can simply move them. I can move it wherever I want, but here, but it won't matter because it still is going to be significantly longer time. Let me just delete that first, close this, and I have only this part. And if I want to print this, obviously, let me just do 90-degree. This is not going to work the way it is. I have to use support material. So one scenario is I use it this way, and then I use support material, and let's use support material no raft, and I use white as a support material, and that's what's going to happen. So obviously it can simply covers this area and it covers the other ones, which would be better than the other scenarios. Let's see how long it takes for this. Previously it took 4 hours and 49 minutes, so this would take longer time, definitely. Let's see how much longer it will take. Going through the whole process of slicing the layers. So since we are here, if I really want to make that male yoke, which is here, so maybe it's not a bad idea if this is the part. I could have maybe made this as a separate part. So I go here and I delete this, and this is my geometry. I make this, and then I can attach that extra piece on top, use 3D printer to print it, but this will take much shorter time. So this is completed 25 hours it takes. That's really long time, and the reason is obviously that it has to go and build this on the top, and then layer by layer, each layer it finishes. It would have been interesting if they would have had a better algorithm that kind of optimize the time. I'm sure in better in future versions they will do that. So this is as far as this goes. I could have also let me select this. I could have make it this way, and I could have also build it, use the same thing here exactly. Let's see how long this will take. It takes longer, and as I mentioned that this would be a better idea to build this one, which takes much shorter time, and the other piece. So I guess the point I'm trying to make here is you have to build the part properly on a CAD software, SolidWorks, and then the way you set it up is important. If there are features in your part that it can be machined simply, or it can be attached by different means of connecting by glues or something for your project, use that and reduce the accuracy and the amount of the time required to build the model significantly. Other than that, there are a few other things that are important when using this 3D printer. Number one is you have to make sure you have the good adhesion between the part and your platform. That's why you have to use that glue. The way you position your part is very important where you have your support. You see, in this case, actually, uh, in the contrary of what I thought, it takes a shorter amount of time to build this, and that itself is kind of interesting. Because on the other part, the other side, I think, let me just go in here and shoot it faster. Yes, the reason is, now I got it, because this is empty inside, versus in previous one, in order to make this properly, you completely fill this. So therefore, if you want to build something like this, the best way is you place it like this. You might ask, how do I build a part with multicolor? You can print different parts with different colors. It takes longer time, but even on top of that, you can make a multi color part. In that case, the part has to be assembled. So let me just close this here. I think I do have an example here. Close this and close this. Um, Let me just close this one as well. Um, I believe, hard to remember where I had it, but I think I made a simple cube shape. Yes, there's some stuff here. Maybe oh, STL. Let me bring that itself. So maybe let me just go here. I go here, open assembly, and the assembly not obviously here. We go to. I should have done that before. So I have, let's see, now I remember. Uh, yeah, I have this assembly here. Yeah, that's the one I believe. Let's open one. Open this assembly. Bring this part, like one side. I just made an empty, like a cube shape, empty with one missing face. And they ask for the next one, which is gonna be, I think, next piece is this. Is you add into it, and then you make the next one, which is, I selected randomly here this guy, and you select two more. Hopefully it's gonna be this. No, that wasn't it. Maybe this. Not that either. I have so many of them, but you need only 5 parts here. Hopefully I select them correctly. I need one more. If I can find that, if I won't find it, that's okay. Let's see if it's this guy. No, anyway, stay with that. Well, let's just say this is enough and done. So you made this part, and I can select that. I can rotate this like this. And now, because this part is an assembly made of these faces, I can go and simply I can change the color of each side. Let's see. Yes, kind of finicky. So we can change perhaps this one as blue, or don't know why the white doesn't work. Something is not working here. This blue works. Red works. I'm not sure why this side doesn't work. Maybe this is because it didn't define it as constant color. But anyway, this is how you change the color of different side, and then when I print that, well, obviously that is not really I suggest for using this printer. And the very last kind of feature is that you can change actually the height of what you're printing by this side here. I think the reason is because this is very slow, it's running features at the same time. That makes it horribly slow, the computer. But you should have, it's possible you print something like this with a different height. You can reduce the height and the layer comes down. Anyway, I hope this helps. Thank you very much.